Welcome to Inspiration Radio, Growth Principles for Humanity and Progress. Join us when we share information, wisdom, and ideas how to create an extraordinary future for us all. The future is open. We together decide what will be in it. Welcome to another episode of Inspiration Radio. This introduction will be very short. Last year, on Inspiration Day in Berlin, we had a young-looking man, and he is already 50 plus. And you will see him, you don't believe it. And he is from Gambia, living in Berlin because his one son has health challenges, epilepsy, so he needed to go for a doctor in Berlin. So he went also to Berlin, became an Uber driver. There he makes his living as an Uber driver. Very hard, pays a lot of money for the car, so he get only 30%, whatever he makes. It's not really much to live. But anyway, he can send money home, and he is extremely happy. A friend of mine ordered an Uber car and had connections and talks with Ousainou Kah, and yeah, he said, wow, what a guy, what he is living, how he is living really alive. And I met him, wanted to know him, get to know him, met him, and invited him also to Inspiration Day. And also in Berlin, I tried to meet him. And really, it is a really positive injection, always wonderful for the frequency. So enjoy some wisdom from the man from Gambia. And if you like, make contact with him. He can really give you these injections to live a truly happy life, besides all the Western world, outer facades, etc. So enjoy Ousainou Kah. Hi, it is wonderful that we have the chance to talk here via Zoom. And I'm so happy that also listeners have the chance to get some of your wisdom. I know you experience a lot of things in different worlds, so you have collected your own wisdom, but you had interesting stories. Is it tribe? Is it grandma? And I really love to talk about something with you. So you lived in Africa, you're born in Gambia, and now you live in Berlin for a while. So let's start with this. What you see the difference, for example, with the view at life in your home country and in the so-called Western world?
Okay, thank you. I want to say hello to you and to your listeners, both near and far. Okay, I came to Germany some years ago. And since I came here, I learned a lot because I could see a big difference from where I come from, culturally, socially, and how people live here culturally and socially. It's a big gap in terms of the cultural and social way of life from where I come from and from here. From where I come from, it seems people are more open, more friendly, more happy, despite the limited resources available. But here it's more of a stress life about success, career, money. And it seems that the life here, people are very lonely, seem to be very lonely, seem to be very sad, angry for small things that they could even make fun about and laugh about it and move on. But instead they make it too big and angry. That's a big shock that I learned when I came here. Also, meeting people for example, I go to a bus stop. Where I come from, you never meet somebody without giving a smile, because we always say smile costs nothing. It's a charity that everybody should be happy to give. And anytime I smile at people, they just, put their faces more in a scary one. So this was a big challenge for me to get used to meeting people at bus stops or at supermarkets without saying hello and smile back, because where I come from, we don't know this. We always take care of each other, say hello, smile, because we always say that as human beings, we need this connection to be able to make life a bit more interesting.
Well, that's for sure a very important thing. If you go with the idea of the blue zones, why people live long. First, we thought this garlic or olive oil or red wine or whatever. Is this a special, yeah, food remedy or whatever that makes you live long? But in the end, it's so much about relationships. Last time we met, you said something. Yeah, in Berlin, I see people have a lifestyle, but not really a life.
Yeah, what I mean is I feel that many people here are living, but they don't have a life. And in my own culture, people live and have a life. People are more happy. People are more relaxed than here, because what I observe here is every person here has the training and talent to succeed, but none of them has the training to handle stress or when the downside of life touches them. And this is something that when we are young, this is how they train us, that everything you see in life, it's two sides. There is always two. It's always a pair, happiness, sad, day, night, So they prepare you that if you are in good times, expect bad times. If you are in bad times, expect good times. Like, for example, one day, hyena is an animal in the forest. This is a story my grandmother told me, that he was very hungry and started crying all over, very loud. So they brought him a lot of food. Then he was very happy. He ate, he couldn't finish the food. All of a sudden, he started crying again. They asked him, why are you crying? You were hungry. We bring you food. You cannot even finish it. You are crying. He said, yes, now I'm full, but I'm sure hunger is coming again. So that story is teaching you that if you are in good times, expect bad times. If you are in bad times, expect good times. So this is something that makes us, always don't let life knocks us down to a point that we don't have hope to get up again. Yeah, this is a big, I see that it's a big, people here, I feel that they hold stress too long in them, that it ruins them, it brings them down. But for me, I always try to go through stress as soon as possible, because stress is like, if you hold a paper and it's very light in the beginning, but if you leave it for 5 hours, it becomes heavy. And this is something that I always train myself that, I don't let stress stay long with me, because in life, what happens is only 10% and 90% is how you respond to it. And every situation can have a positive side. No matter how bad it is, you can always try to look for the positive side and adopt that positive side and try to forget about the negative aspect of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to see both, like you said, but yeah, like we said, a lot of people live in this one polarity life. They see only one polarity, too bad or too whatever. High nose, but both is an illusion. Yeah, somehow in the middle is right. But I guess you don't want to say that having a career is bad. It's more that they only focus on a career and lose self, really.
Yes.
They lose their life. I remember the story, maybe you'd like to share it, with the kind of successful rich guy with the apartment. And
yes. This is also, when we were young, in the village, we didn't have any electricity or television. So we had what we call oral university. That is the grandma or grandpa of the, of the community. During moonlight, everybody will go and sit on the mats, and then he will tell us fairy and story tales that will, prepare you mentally, psychologically as you grow.
Yeah.
And almost all these stories, we are always linked to realities that you will come across in life. So one day, I remember he was telling us about a story about a very rich man who was extremely rich, lived in a big story building, but he has very less sleep because of all the worries, thinking, where is this money, how many I have, much, as businessmen and rich people, how they are always. So he could never sleep more than 3-4 hours. So in the middle of the late hours of the night, everybody was sleeping, everywhere was quiet. He couldn't sleep, he did everything, he couldn't sleep. So there was a beggar who always go around from house to house asking for money, for food, and so forth. So in the middle of the night, when everybody was sleeping, the man couldn't sleep. Then he went to his balcony and leaned and looking at the street. Then suddenly he saw this poor man under his own veranda, sleeping and snoring so loud that, he could even hear it from upstairs. Then he said, with all this wealth I have, look at this poor man. He don't even have a shelter. I have so many empty rooms here. I cannot fill them and I cannot sleep, but he can sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, he invited this man to his apartment. Then they sat. He invited him for food because he also had problems in eating, much. Within few spoons, no appetite, because all the time phone is ringing. He's thinking of, So then the moment he invited this man, then they started chatting, and this man started to tell him about his life story. And then he began to feel relaxed. That day he ate the whole food, his whole plate of food. And then within minutes, he sat on the couch sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that is to tell you that in life, no matter how, whatever you have, somebody has something that you need. That's why we need each other as human beings, because bringing him this man brought him joy for that moment, made him forget about all his wealth and everything. He enjoyed this, short moment that made him so relaxed that he could eat as much as he never ate for many years, and he could sleep long. So these are this kind of stories that they will teach you that whatever you have, someone has something else that you don't have. So everybody is rich in this society because you have something which is a gift within you that I don't have. I have a gift which is in me that you don't have. So I'm richer than you in that aspect. So that's why I always say to myself, every human being is rich because everybody has a natural gift in him or her that the other one sitting next to him or her doesn't have. So that's why we need each other. And the moment you are with people talking to each other, chatting, you forget about your problems. That's why, social connection is very good. And that is something that I observe here in Germany, that many people are very lonely. Some people, when they go in their flats, they have no one else to talk to until the next day when they are out. And this is something that I feel it's kind of sad in the society that the connection.
It's sad and killing people even. I think there's a lot of value in the little story. First of all, you started before you to the story with this oral university.
Yeah.
And somehow maybe you say, because we didn't have Google or whatever, we needed this. But if you look at modern times, who has a possibility to get stories from grandma? I guess a lot of people today, like you said, living lonely. Where is a family that you get stories from your parents? And this starts already to, create a kind of lonely life. And when you said the rich guy with all his super apartment, empty rooms, invited the beggar. I mean, at the moment you're driving different people through Berlin, different or whatever, rankings, nations or whatever. And how do you see it? Because I was triggered the moment he said he invited it in his house. When I was at that situation, focused on the facade and building the facade, I was not even able to invite him, but even talk to him. I try to keep a distance to those people. Intellectually, I heard it. Oh, they have something. You can find something. But it was more like, oh, yeah, I should be a good Christ and see something good in it. But I was running behind the material stuff or the facade or to get the recognition that something in me was afraid to connect. So I was not really able to talk to people who have a totally different opinion about life. Because inside somehow, the fear, if I do this, what I'm going for is breaking down.
Fear factor. Yeah. And I think that is true because I think here, I can safely say majority of the people, their fear of knowing the unknown or going out of their comfort zone is a big obstacle to their desire to achieve certain positive things in life. They just want to be in the safe. And in life, if you don't try or take risk to learn something new, you can never grow. And if you don't grow, you cannot be to your best to become happy. So that's why many people here, I think they confuse pleasure and happiness. many people are spending a lot of resources, a lot of money on pleasure, thinking it will make them happy. But after some time, they become bored of that one. They want the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And this is what is bringing these people so sad, so lonely, even depression. This is because of all the pressure. Actually, and it took me a long time before I could even understand what depression is, the theory, because before I
That
came to
was a funny
Germany,
thing that you didn't know what means.
no, I didn't know it. I didn't know it at all. And I still struggle to understand it because uh, it's still difficult for me to understand exactly that it's a medical condition that could happen to somebody, and even to a point that he or she cannot go to work, or have to go, for medical treatment or so, because we don't have this kind of situations, because we always,
Yeah, but if you're looking at depression, yeah, it is treated from a society, yeah, as a let's say a situation where we can sell drugs also, and then make them, because there might some really different problems, or maybe the brain is wired different, but for most of people, it's just they make different choices about what they think, and they get a routine in thinking something. And if you grow up in a different environment, you just think different things. You're trained to think different. You have a different life view. You're not like when we run in the Western world for all the symbols, a facade. And I was in a depression too, after I even reached the success, because now I have more than I ever could expect, reached, ticked off, that, be happy, or that. Realizing I was running for recognition. And and then you can depressed really. You say, oh shit, I can't be happy, because you never will be happy from the outside. And here, I guess, is there something what oral university says, or you in the family, what is the meaning of life? If you're born in Gambia and in your family, what you share, what's the meaning of life is?
The meaning of life first is contentment, to be content about yourself
Yeah.
first, about your surrounding, to be grateful also with the gift that you have a life, that you could see all your body parts are functioning. Because if you look at it from another perspective, there are millions of people who cannot even see the world. There are millions of people who cannot even move their arms. Some are so rich that they cannot even lift their heads. They are in hospital bed. So the meaning of life is to be grateful of of whatever you have, no matter how little. It's not about how much you have, but it's about what you have.
Yeah.
That is, for me, that is the meaning of life, to be grateful with that, and try to make the best out of that, to enjoy it in your own way.
So it's so much more about being grateful that you are alive.
Exactly.
Yeah, who has a chance to really incarnate, to be there.
Yeah.
And we don't know how many minutes, seconds, or hours we have.
Yeah, exactly. Because the sad thing about life is no one is sure how long he or she is going to live. So for me, that's why I always say everyone should always make the best out of every day you witness, because nothing is 100% in life. The next minute, something else could happen. All of a sudden, everything change. So the moment you live, try to make the best out of it. And making the best out of it is it's not about spending money also, but try to make yourself happy, the people around you happy, and try to just relax. I think relax is also very important, not to stress.
Yeah, we get it more and more. Also, let's say called, even so the medicine world goes more and more in the direction that not just the outer stresses, or the chronical stress you don't really feel but is permanent, is a bigger killer than just having maybe yeah, the need to run away from the tiger for a moment and then you can relax again.
Exactly.
But there is a big difference. Like I grew up in the Western world in Germany. I studied in Berlin, but I grew up in different other areas. And the training on the focus is, what is your grades first, and what's the title, and what you have. So, and if you get the training, you get recognition, because you brought home the right grades, or oh, now I have the right car, now I can accept you and everything. Yeah, you're running after something what your soul maybe is not really interested in.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and if you can't change this, then I think it's quite normal that
You
your
become unhappy.
self is depressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But that's why it's always good to always look at the one below you. If you always look at the one below you, you are always satisfied or at least content with your situation. But if
yeah,
I want to
go in the
look
direction
at you,
of greatness. But I also can easily become high nose. No, yeah, I feel better than them. I have something what they
yeah,
don't.
yeah, you can have ambitions, of course, to aim high, but not to you know, it's good to be ambitious, but too much of it also it's not good. It's good
Yeah.
to have the, you know, the level. I'd say, okay, this is my target, this is my goal, but at
Mhm.
at a minimal level that it doesn't, you know, ruin your your inner self.
Yeah, and can you agree this? It doesn't matter how high your goal is.
Mhm.
The question is how stress is it? How much stressy is it for you to go there?
Exactly.
So for some people, it's natural to run faster than others. Or
Mm,
yeah, like you said, everybody has a different gift. So
mm,
maybe for someone, is it easier to make business for someone? It's like in my organism. I'm
mm,
happy that the liver and the kidney are not
mm.
fighting with each other.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there's, oh, this is my job and this is his job.
yeah.
Together we create a bigger organism.
Mm,
Yeah. And this I feel is, let me come back to family.
mm,
That is so much more normal, or maybe even you don't think about it, that you
mm,
live in a community, in
mm.
a we culture. Is it
I,
true?
I I think for us we are more community family oriented that in the West here. Here, for example, the moment you are 18, the system tells you that go away, you can be alone, and that is what is the first step to break the families, the system. You know, the moment that they tell you that you are 18, you leave home. And I think for me, I think that is not the way it should be. Because if you think when you are young, your parents brought you to this life, they took care of you, you know, they did everything to bring you up. So I think even if you reach certain stage, you have your own family, you should always think about your parents and take care of them to give them that love back that they gave you before. Because I always say that the best gift you could give someone you care and you love is time, not material, not money. If I buy you a present within weeks, it can spoil. But the time, the memory that we spend together, that lasts forever. So I think the time that people should spend or give back to their parents or families, that is something that is lacking in the Western world. Sometimes I am driving taxi. I pick people. They sometimes they tell me they don't see their parents for years, and they are living in the same city. They only maybe emails, you
Mhm.
know. I met a lady who told me that she and her mother have only email contact. For me, that is very sad. I cannot understand that, you know, living in the same city, a mom that brought you, gave you this life, went through sleepless nights for you and et cetera, and so forth. So if she reached a stage that she cannot, I think it's very important that to give that love back, spend some time with her, try to find time for her to be able to give her that love. But it seems like here, the moment you are 18, that's it.
Yeah,
You have your
it is very interesting the point and get some. I don't know if it's true the historical development, but survival in Africa, if we also look back, it was really about the tribe. Alone you couldn't survive. Uh,
mm,
yeah, so this is one part. Um, but you also were more interested in laughing and being happy.
mm,
But you know, in Europe, especially when they invented the conveyor belt, and suddenly people could go in the morning from 9 to 5, then and have secure money. Um, then also one day, mommy was responsible for, like we say, 3K, you know, kids and the kitchen and Okay, in English it's not a K, but for the church. So and then mommy one day said, no, I want to be in the world as well. So I want to make maybe also money. Today they need because life is so expensive. But then it was always about money. And bringing kids up in the Western world costs a lot of money. So then it's more understandable that they get the idea, how fast can you go out and live on your own?
Yeah, okay.
And it's also like this American way of living. You need to be the one, and you need to be the best. That means also forget the rest.
Yeah, I think I honestly think that for example, in Europe here, with all the available resources people have, people don't think about that. I don't have money to eat 2 or 3 times a day. When I don't they don't think about that. If I am sick, I don't have money to go to hospital. But from where I come from, that is the reality. It's all about, some families can only afford 1 meal a day. And within that 1 meal a day, even if you are a guest, you are welcome to join, even if they don't know you.
Yeah.
So I think here should with all the easy access to food, healthcare, education, it should have been a very happy society. But I don't know why. Why this? Because for example, me, I have a big responsibility. If I tell you about how many people are waiting for me to send euros for them to have food, you'll be amazed that I can have that big responsibility and still be, smiling, happy, and so forth. But if a quarter of that was put on a maybe European soldier, they will say, "Oh no, I cannot handle it." But because of the faith and this thing that you have, that and the will that you want to share whatever you have with the people, gives you that happiness and that joy.
Yeah.
So it's always a choice.
It's not in the focus.
Exactly. It's just a choice that people choose that,
You see in the Western world, or the success of a country is measured by how many invoices we write, but we don't care about the quality of the invoices. Car accidents, or chemotherapy, great. That's good for the gross domestic product. And then you can borrow money against it and everything. And there's very few countries, but hopefully it's changing, like Bhutan says we measure the success of the country, how happy people are. They have really going around and checking, are the people happy? And in some good, let's say, more family-owned businesses, they take often more care about the people, are they happy, and they know about the family. In a modern world, there are no people, there are numbers.
Numbers, exactly. You're right.
Objects and everything. And the crazy thing, the more those people who do it and have more money, they are not happy. And
I agree.
and I got another question, or like a thought you triggered. When I was in Spain, the first time I realized there is a kind of idea of, mañana, we don't need to do it today. And they came late to a meeting and everything.
Yeah.
I was, the first time I experienced, okay, I was also in a different mood at that time, on a different level of awareness. I was pissed off and I felt ignored, or those lazy people. And you shared, I guess it was in the context in Berlin, the people have a lifestyle but not a life. That you says, when I'm in Gambia, I maybe need to go to an appointment. I can't really make sure when I'm there because I meet people in between.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, we talk and consideration. I will not ignore the relationship. So there is a totally different reason why people maybe not on time.
I mean, you are right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true, because you never know. Like if I said I should meet you and then we have an appointment, and on my way to come to your house, I don't know how many people I will know on the street that I will meet and say hello, greetings, talk about family, and move on to the other, because people have time to interact, and this is what what gives life food is food of the soul.
Yeah.
If I put it that way, yeah. Because those moments that you will meet someone that you haven't seen for a while, you meet, you greet each other, talk about things, laugh, or maybe share memories of the past, and then so that's why in Gambia we have what you call GMT, Gambian maybe time. If I tell you let's meet 3 o'clock, so I'll ask you whether European 3 o'clock or the Gambian GMT. Because you never know how long I might need to be there, because people are very relaxed, very easygoing, very, very easygoing, very relaxed, and very, anywhere you go, you don't need invitation to join any. We have this a specialty in Gambia called attaya. It's a Chinese green tea, and you brew it, and the longer it takes, the better it is. It can take 4 hours making this tea, or 3 hours, or 2 hours. But the whole concept of making the tea, at the end you drink only a little bit, but the concept of it is to bring people together, to sit and have conversation and exchange ideas. And you see this in everywhere in Gambia, in most streets, in corners, workshops, mechanics, in the markets. People will make this attire, and anytime you start it, people will come and sit and join. Even if you don't know, they will sit and come and join this. This social. It's like how people socialize with beer in Europe. That they drink beer to socialize, and this is
yeah, can be, but I might be a difference if I feel it right, because now I'm not such a super beer drinker today, and my past as a student drinking beer was also a little bit different from the idea. What I feel, is it true when they meet around the tea procedure?
Yeah.
They are making real connections. They're also interested in the other person.
Yes, they make connections, they chat.
Yeah.
And then from there, even if, for example, if I start making the tea with you, and then I know someone who was coming with you on the way, please just come and sit and join. And then through that, we'll get to know each other. That's why in Gambia, almost everybody knows everybody. Like if you should go with me to Gambia, you'll be amazed how many people will be calling my name on the street. It's because of this, and it's not only me. It happens to almost every Gambian because of the social connection.
Yeah. And that is a big difference. Like in Germany, when I grew up and as a student were drinking beer or whatever it says, German man has to drink. It was a kind of, are you a real man when you can get drunk or not? So it's not about connections, because you lose all the connections.
I understand.
And later in business, everybody is talking, you need to have a network. Network, you need to know people and everything. But it was not about really making connections from human to human, or like we would say heart to heart. It's just, okay, is this helpful for my business, or is it not helpful for my business?
For my business.
So it's a totally different idea with whom you sit together.
For us, it's completely different. That's why in Gambia, for example, in my culture, if you have a celebration like wedding or naming ceremony or party, you never know how many people will come. As long as you know somebody who knows the one doing it, you are welcome. So you don't know how many people will turn up to your party or your. It's always community and connection and connection. It's not, you don't have to know the person directly, but you know someone who knows him, then you are also welcome. You are also part of the community. So it's a very different way of life.
Very different, yeah. We in Germany sit for a party or wedding or something. Who do we? Is this?
Yeah, actually, my first experience here is I was invited to a party, and I was looking forward to it. I said, "Oh, okay, I will not eat lunch. I will, when I go to the party, because that is how it is in Gambia. When you are invited to a party, you expect." So when we went to the party, the first thing the party owner was asking, how many pieces of bread or meat do you need so that I can start? So that was a big shock for me, that they were asking how much quantity you need to from our party. It's not like that. It's always open invitation, and you always share. And it's not about how much you eat, but it's about
it's the general thing, like
general thing, exactly, general thing, yeah.
The philosophy, and I realized it when I had the trip to the Maasai land, so in Kenya. They don't have a word for I. They only have
And sharing also is something that they bring teach us since when we are young. We share. Like I remember when I was in school, we'll have if you have a bread like this, a small piece of bread, you will share it with almost all the students, your friends. Everybody will come and take a cut or a bite. And sharing, that's why in Gambia, you don't need to go to university to learn how to socialize. Everybody knows how to socialize from grassroots, that we always, share and care for each other. And I think that is something, when I was working at Tegel Airport, one day I was very hungry, and my friend, German friend that I was eating with, I told him that I forgot to bring my lunch box. And then we were sitting eating, and then he ate until he couldn't finish his food. He just put it and threw it in the bin. And that was a big shock for me, because if it was me or from where I come from, we would share, whatever, but he couldn't finish it. You know what I mean? If your friend is saying he don't have nothing to eat, he forgot, and then he just put it in the bin. So that's a big difference, for example, culturally and so forth.
Huge difference.
Yeah, for us, sharing is something that we know since from beginning. They teach you how to. Even this tea I'm telling you about, it's done in a glass, but everyone will share this cup round, and you feel good about it.
But the real sharing, what you mean, is sharing also on the, say, same level of whatever your hierarchy in the society, and not just, okay, the rest I don't eat, I give to the poor.
No, sharing equals.
Totally different.
Sharing, absolutely what.
So just we know, and here with Inspiration, we talk also about so much more about, or adapted and try to do it in the Western world, what they call the Ubuntu philosophy, and it's like where a professor from the West had a bag with sweets and put it maybe 100 meters somewhere and at a tree, and then said to the young boys there in Africa, says, so, okay, now I give you a command, and then you can run, and the fastest, the one who is first, at the back and can have all the sweets.
All the sweets,
So he gave them, and nobody was running.
Oh, okay.
Nobody was running, and he was running. Why is nobody running? You don't like it? Yeah, but why is it only for one?
Exactly.
It makes no sense to run if it's only for one.
For one, exactly.
This is a totally different idea.
Yeah, it is. It's a totally different idea and way of living.
Yeah. And even slowly in some parts we learn it also that we're all in the same boat. If we look at climate or food, but we are trained in the Western world so much more about separation.
Individual.
Better than this one. It can be religion. My religion is better or whatever. But also if you live in Berlin and you see a little bit or get a feeling about the parliament and the politics in Berlin, you don't have the feeling that they're have a creative fighting for what is the best for the people. No, they fight each other and blame
each other.
If parents are doing it, teachers are doing it, the government are doing it.
Yeah, then it melts down to the society.
Yeah, it's not that society is doing it. Yeah,
it melts down to the society, and it reflects to the coming generation, which is.
Yeah, but I guess you don't want to tell me that the Gambian, how do you say it, Gambian people or whatever, just the people from Gambia.
Gambian people,
they are totally against career or success.
No, they are very success oriented, and very career oriented. But maybe the way we follow the success, we don't put too much pressure as it is in Europe. That like for example in Europe, I've seen that people put success and career before family or before starting to have family.
Yeah.
Like for example, my observation here in Berlin is most of the people I see that they start to have children when they are 40s, when their careers are already secure and so forth. So if I was kept the other day I was thinking that it's very hard to see a real white German in Berlin now because they are not reproducing. They are always following their career and success. And the foreigners or foreign Germans that are making families here, they are starting to outnumber the white real Germans because of the fact that they always put their career first before starting to have children. So by the time they are ready to have children, nature doesn't allow them to have more than one or two. Or most of them don't want to have one or two, or they don't even want to have a children.
Yeah.
And for example, from my perspective, okay, if you spend all your life in fighting for that success, fighting to reach that high top, to a point that you don't have the children, you don't have nothing. Okay, by the time you are retired, you are 67. When you are 67, what fun do you want to have more? Before you know it, you start to have bones, back problem. So all the years that you are working for, you only enjoy within 2 minutes. You just stay home, and then so that's why it's important to, whilst you have the strength and the will and to enjoy life whilst you can.
Yeah,
responsible.
Some people in the Western world say also you need to work extremely hard until you're 60 to have a lot of money that you can pay all the doctors.
Yeah, exactly. So because the moment by the time you reach retirement age, you already start to have, natural problems like back, bones, and so you don't even want to travel far again. You don't want to sit on a plane maybe to see the outside world. Or so then why were you, working so hard for this? You know what I mean? So it's important that whilst you can enjoy life, see the world, make good out of what you have. It's not, it's not about only keeping it in the bank and then one day you are gone, the bank take it or the state or so. Help people out, enjoy life, see the world, share.
Enjoy life. I think that's a very important thing to look at because also like why the Germans drinking beer. When they have carnival, a lot of people just because they have this stressy life. Yeah. So that is not really the joy of drinking.
Yeah, actually, you are right, because I was saying this to myself. Last Saturday, I drove some people and they were so drunk. And I was saying to myself, this is not joy anymore. Because if you intoxicate your system, you abuse substances, you are not yourself anymore. You are, someone else somewhere. So where is the joy coming from? So this is something that, from my own world, I would have enjoyed it in a different way. Bring people around, we gather, have some good time together, and you still be yourself. You not be enjoying with under the influence of whatever substances you are taking. But I think here many people are, thinking that enjoyment is about going out, being so drunk that you cannot even, or taking substances that will even knock you out.
Do you have in your language a different word for in German, or you can say even in English, there's a difference between fun and real joy. Joy is really more the joy of life. The fun of life has a different, or it's fun in life, is a different meaning. So if you have too much stress, and which is the one polarity, you go on the other polarity, it's more about fun, or if you're drunk, you're not meeting yourself, you have too much stress, or working for someone, recognition or whatever, is not really getting the real connection to yourself.
But if the drunkenness will not take the stress away, the stress will still be waiting.
Yeah.
If you drink if you drink to be drunk because of a particular stress you have, if you don't solve that stress, it will still be waiting. So the first point of call is to first solve that stress, and then you can, But if you say, okay, I have a stress at work, I couldn't finish my assignment, so I'll go out and drink.
Yeah.
If I don't, you first have to finish that, because that assignment will always be waiting for you there.
Yeah, but it's more compensating on the other side for the stress. It is not really deep joy.
Yeah, it's not there.
Because the real joy, like you said, you only experience or can only have if you're not drunk.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
if you really feel the joy, what you said in the beginning, to feel blessed to be alive, to really be
to be
great.
grateful,
Yeah, it is
to be
not.
satisfied with
Yeah,
yourself and your surrounding. Because the first point of happiness is yourself. To look at yourself and feel satisfied and confident that I feel good and great. That's the first point of happiness. And then
So
the
we just,
surrounding.
yeah, we touched with the oral university or growing up in the family, that you get a different training to look at life different.
Mm,
How much would you say is the difference in Gambia and then especially in Berlin? Even Berlin is a kind of green city with parks, but living in Africa in a totally different connection with nature and how
mm,
nature functions than in the Western world. You just go in a supermarket or you live always in concrete.
mm.
So how much you think is depending on that?
Uh, if I may understand your question, you want me to compare the
Yeah,
nature.
I believe if you really grow up with this connection
Mm,
between humans,
mm,
I assume there's also a different connection to nature itself,
absolutely.
how you treat nature. And if you live in a city where you only see concrete, apartments,
Mm,
blocks, and everything, and a lot of cars, and you know, a lot of people live in between concrete walls, then they have an alarm. They rush
mm,
in a kind of metal box, uh,
mm.
driving the metal box to another building, and then they live in the building again. So, or at least for me, I learned that the lack of really contact to nature is a big problem in life.
Yeah. I agree with you because, for example, for example, the light, the sun, the daylight,
Yeah.
it's a big. It has been a big challenge for me.
Hmm.
You know, and I always miss the early morning sounds of the nature in Gambia, waking up, hearing different bird species, making sounds, the chicken, the donkey making or all that nature, you
Yeah.
know, is something that I always miss, and it's something that is lacking. Here it's more every hour also you hear police or ambulance people instead of hearing the
Hmm.
natural waking up the birds also. On here you are always wake up by an alarm mostly, because of appointments and so forth. And there it's more of a relax, you hardly even see watches on people's hands. People hardly put on watches even.
Yeah. And when you eat, which I like simple Africa, you go hunting and then you bring something home. I guess it was here in Europe in the former times as well. You value also what you have different. Yeah, we
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
a lot of in the Western world. We throw a lot of food away and don't care so much. And mm,
yeah. That is a big difference. Like in Gambia, for example, we have an eating culture that we always eat together in one bowl or plate, and all the family members will come and eat. And during the time of eating, that's the time we will also chat, talk about family matters, and
mm,
then those moments are the times that you even have more appetite. Like me, I find it very. If I eat with people, I eat more than if I eat alone.
yeah,
And
yeah,
this is because the moment you are eating with people, you are chatting, teasing each other, making jokes,
yeah,
and so forth. It's very rich in terms of
yeah,
the food culture and so. And also, as you said, in throwing food here, people waste a lot of food here. I was working in one hotel here as a dishwasher, and
mm,
my boss always telling me to throw a lot of food that the guests don't eat, and they were still good. But I had to, within 2 days, I had to stop the job because my heart and my mind couldn't allow me to throw all that food, thinking of how many people, from where I come from,
hmm,
can even have 2 meals a day. So
hmm.
as you are saying, yeah, the food here, it's so many food that is been wasted that,
Yeah.
but I think there should
We
be
don't
enough.
see, we don't see food. We see products we can sell. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You
So
can't sell it anymore, you throw it away. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's why I said yeah, everyone should be grateful. Like
Yeah.
today, I had a parent who I was dropping with the child to school, and the child was complaining that she don't like the breakfast the mother gave her
Mm-hmm.
again. So I was saying to her, I be grateful to your mother. I mean, I never had breakfast to school in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I used to walk 5 kilometers on foot without breakfast. So
Yeah.
that is something that, I that's what I like coming back to what I was saying, that people should be very grateful, with all
Yeah.
what they have here. Believe me, some people maybe eat only one time meat in the whole year in Gambia. And that
Yeah.
is during the feast of, the Muslim feast. When they eat that time of meat, they cannot eat it until the next year because they cannot afford it, they don't have it.
Yeah. I think this is a big problem we have now in the Western world. Um, First is we are not grateful anymore, and then the next step is we feel entitled. Doctor, heal me, da 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 da. And now, if you look at the news, oh shit, it might change that
Mm,
this habit will not survive, and a lot
mm,
of people are afraid because their old persona, the ego they created, is gone or at least at risk.
mm,
And I want to come back to one question where you said, okay, here kids are leaving early the family,
mm,
and it's a difference in Gambia. But what I heard also, especially in not only in Africa, so otherwhere where really natives lived on it, had this in Kenya also. When the
mm,
boys, for example, are 13,
mm,
then they go whatever, and in the Maasai's it was go out and hunt a lion, or
mm,
whatever you say in America, the native Indians is, okay, you go in the woods and need to be alone with 13 in the woods and come back. And if you, whatever, mastered, then you come and be part of the elderly or whatever, just so we treat you like the man. And that is was always more my idea also that, okay, they need to become very early independent. But if I understand you right, it's not so much about independence on it's a kind of challenge just to grow up, but stay anyway together.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is the point. And Africa is very big and very diverse. For example, the way of life in East Africa is far different from the way of life in West Africa. Even in West Africa, the way of life is actually the whole of Africa. It's only Gambia and Senegal who have the same cultural values, the same name, the same mindset, the same food, the same look. Like, for example, if I go on the street, if I see a Nigerian or somebody who is not Senegambian, I
Mm-hmm.
can easily know from the look or from the behavior also. And so that's why it's very difficult to generalize
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Africa as a whole, because it's a big continent with diversity.
Yeah.
And from Senegambia, you know, we've been always been together as family and always take care of each other. Even if you go, you know, because even if you are far away from your family physically, you are very close.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody can be very far away from you physically, but very close to you.
Yeah.
And somebody can be close to you physically, but very far away from you. So for us, that is how.
How is this in the history? At the moment, you could say Gambia is a kind of democratic.
Yeah. We had a democratic dispensation. We became independent in 1965
Yeah.
from the British.
Before you were occupied by the British.
Yeah. Before it used to be one country, Gambia and Senegal.
Yeah.
But then the colonial masters, when they came, the French were interested in land, and the British were interested in the water in the river. So they
Mm-hmm.
just took a small piece of land, surrounded and said they will colonize it. It is Gambia, because for them it was strategic for them to take slaves and goods inland, put them on the river, and
Mm-hmm.
then to export them to the ocean, to America and Europe. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why the slave trade was called the triangular slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
but before,
you know about your ancestors with this family feeling, was this
mm,
always a more like a democratic idea?
yes, it was more always a democratic idea. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, the family structure is you will have a father, who is the family head, and the mother. So the father, the male always go and look for the resources to bring home, and the mother's responsibility was to take care of those resources in terms of food, cooking, and so forth. And then the children will also participate in helping the father. If, for example, if the father is a farmer, the male son will go to the farm to help the father to support, and the female daughter will help the mother in the cooking and preparing food, and also learning.
We would say here as a classical.
And learning, learning how to cook and so forth, so that she can also be.
You have 2 boys in Berlin.
Yes, 2 boys.
So when they listen to what we talked about, what would they say? What is Daddy here saying? Oh, no, the world is different. We are not.
Yeah, actually, I always try to,
do they really want to go back and say, no, this life in Berlin is so much better?
No, actually, I always try to give them the the insight of my childhood, because my childhood was different, but difficult, but interesting. Because I would say interesting because it's 2 types of education. You have the academic education and the social education. For me, my academic education was not far because of financial constraint. Then I took up to teach myself socially. That is what I learned from the street, from the people, from society. Because from the age of 5 years, I started traveling almost 50 kilometers to go to school from the village to the city in Banjul. And during that time, there were no public transport, very, very few cars. So all that, struggle, developed my mental being.
People might have a different idea because you look so extremely young from face and your energy, but
my secret is no stress. Happiness all the time. Yes.
So what are your boys saying? Do they really want to go? When can we go back to Gambia, or will they stay in Berlin or Western world?
Their situations are different because of health conditions.
Yeah, okay. That's why one
because of their medical. So actually, that's why I brought them, because of we didn't have any neurolog doctor in Gambia, and one of them has a neurolog problem.
Okay, let's take that out. Besides that,
yes,
how they feel about the lifestyle and the life in Berlin or in Gambia. Is it maybe also a generation topic?
Yeah, it's a generation topic. Like some things they like, some things they don't like. Some things they like more about Gambia, and some things they think, here. Like, for example, the freedom. Nobody cares how you look, how you dress. That is something that in Gambia it's different. Gambia, you always think about your personal appearance and so forth. And here, nobody cares if you have a trouser that is torn apart. You can put it and go. And in Gambia, that is something that you will not want to do, because you always want to look neat and look decent, and so it's something like this. It's
but it's maybe a nice idea to pick the best from both worlds in this way. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. If you have the 50 here, 50 here, and then it's good. Or at least 60-50.
Yeah.
But I have to take it to Gambia. I must.
Yes, and I will come with just a matter of organization as we talked. I know already you chatted, or posted, or sent me which airport or which airline to go to. So we will figure that out. Really like to explore there with you. Before we finish today's session here, if possible, can you give 3 super tips to be so relaxed, so sleep so well like you do, and go so happy to life?
Yeah, the first tip is, as soon as you put your head on the bed, forget about what happened in the day, and just talk to yourself in a peaceful way, and then you fall asleep very quick. And I think most people also always take work stress home. So it's very important to always leave work at work. Come home as the person you are. So that's something that, it's very good to relax. Because I've seen that, I had a friend, when he come from work, he's always talking about how he was criticized at work
Yeah.
or how, and he always make this stress. I always tell him that when they criticize you at work, it's not you they criticize, but it's you at work they criticize. So you are you now, so feel free and relax.
Yeah.
So that's a good tip. Like if I close work, the moment I'm out of work, I don't think about work.
Yeah. Also, it's so great talking for you, and I guess you can, with all this wisdom, help a lot of people. So, how can someone reach you who is interested? Oh, can you give me some, what is it, happiness injections or whatever?
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to, to always share my experience, my stories,
Yeah.
my life experience, and it's a lot be, I will be willing to share.
Hmm.
So anybody who wants to reach me can reach me with WhatsApp, either through you. You can put my number, and
Hmm.
then yeah, feel free to put my number or give my number to anyone who wants to reach me out.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
Yeah, I can recommend it as we get a feeling here in this talk. There is so much, not only wisdom, but we feel, oh, there's a difference between knowing and knowledge and knowing, and
yeah,
then he really lives it.
yeah,
And okay, I don't want to just
yeah,
have the message. I want to really be able to do it. Can you
yeah,
teach me? That
yeah,
is
exactly.
interesting. And last year, on the 7th
Mm,
of May, Inspiration Day, we had an event in Berlin, and you were shortly also on stage. And I guess we shared also that you were wondering, try to figure out what the word depression means, because you
yeah,
couldn't, everybody's talking about depression. What is that?
yeah, yeah.
And then really, not just as
And
a
also burnout.
it was
Burnout is
really
something that I don't know what it is.
burnout. Yeah. Yeah. What is it? And it's beautiful not knowing this. And it's a problem. We have too much words about what we and you don't want to live, and we have not
Yeah,
enough
exactly.
about what how we want to live in the Western world. And I just had also one thought um, when you talk about what is the meaning of life, the happiness and the connections.
Mm,
I guess nobody on the deathbed said, "Oh shit, I should have been more in the office. Oh
yeah,
shit, should have had more money on the bank account or whatever."
yeah,
So far, we hear always, "Oh, I lost. I should have more time with family," and
exactly,
all.
exactly.
So it's better not to wait. Start it
Mm,
early, and I can recommend make contact with Osh, and yes, train yourself in life, not only in lifestyle, in a real happy life. Thank you, Osh, for sharing, and
yeah, thank you very much.
see you next
Okay, take
in Gambia.
okay then. Bye bye.